mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica I made a stop. But I'm sad to say that I'm on my way, won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around, I have to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Down at the market you can hear ladies cry while on their heads they bet. Ackee rice, dried fish is nice, and the rum is fine any time of year. Well, hello, today we're going to make not nutmeg bread, cinnamon bread. It could have a little nutmeg, it does actually have a little nutmeg in it, but it is basically a cinnamon bread, so we'll get started. I've already preheated my oven, or getting it preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we will bake the bread for an hour, but 350 degrees Fahrenheit to preheat your oven. I'm going to tilt the camera so you can watch what's happening here, because what's happening up here really is unimportant in a cooking video. So hang on a second, let's get this moved so you can see me. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is we need some melted butter, a quarter cup of melted butter, which I have already pre-melted here. So we will put that into the bowl. So that's a quarter cup of melted butter, or you can use margarine. Margarine works as well. This is one of those recipes that we start with the wet ingredients, not the dry ingredients. Sure we got that, because if I don't get it all, then I don't have a quarter cup, right? That's right. Just a reminder, if you're following along with me, I hope you wash your hands. I know I'm a nag, aren't I? But, as I always say, hygiene is important in the kitchen. Alrighty, so we are going to take a quarter cup of margarine, and then we are going to add 2 eggs. Oops. Our oven is ready to go now. So to our cup of melted butter, which we have nicely waiting for us there, we will add 2 beaten eggs. So it's always best to remove the shells, unless you like a little extra crunch in your loaf. Alrighty. Get a little egg sticky off my fingers there. So we're just going to whip those up. And add them right in there. I'll set that on the paper towel. So we've got a quarter cup of butter, melted butter or margarine, 2 eggs beaten, and we'll just blend that together. Probably the fork would work better than the spatula if I was thinking clearly. You can see my butter's already starting to congeal again. It's kind of strange. And then we're going to add, I'm using Splenda, but the recipe actually calls for a cup of white sugar. I'm using Splenda so that my dear wife can also partake. So you can use Splenda or sugar. And you're going to just blend that together as best you can. You can do this in the Mix Master again. As I say, I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, but
If you find it easier, then use a mix master, whether a handheld or countertop. We're going to mix that together so it's looking kind of fluffy and white. And then we want a cup of sour milk. So if you don't have some sour milk, just add a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar to it. And that will sour it right up. Oops. Blend it together there. Okay, then what we're going to add, liquid-wise, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now, if you prefer, there's a 1 teaspoon of rum extract, but if you don't want the rum extract, then do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. But I do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I do 1 teaspoon, I've got a whole teaspoon in here, and 1 teaspoon of rum extract. This gives it a little extra nice taste. But again, if you don't like the rum extract, you can just use vanilla. Or if you don't like vanilla, I guess you could use 2 teaspoons of rum extract. But I have a feeling that might be a little bit strong. And we just blend that in nicely. Alrighty. Okay, the next thing we're going to add is we're going to take our flour and we're going to add a teaspoon of baking, or is it a half a teaspoon? I better get that right for you. A half a teaspoon of baking soda. It's baking soda. And just work that in. And a half teaspoon of salt. Work that into the flour. And then we want 1 teaspoon. So that's 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Sorry there, my batteries died, I had to change it. So back on the road again here with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and we work that into the flour. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And we work that into the flour. Alrighty, so that's our ingredients. So we've got our liquid ingredients here, ready to go, and our powdered ingredients here. Now we're just going to start adding them. So as you can see, I'm again using the fork because at this point you could use a whisk and it would probably work fine, but by the time it gets down to being a thick batter, I find stuff starts sticking into the whisk, and it's just easier to use a fork. But you do whatever you're comfortable with, or like as I said, once again, you can use a mix master if you prefer. I have to keep my manly physique, so I use a fork. I just realized I'm not wearing my apron today, so I'm doing a nice little advertisement for Charleston, South Carolina here on my t-shirt. Beautiful city if you've never been there. It's very nice. I went there back in 2015 for my niece's wedding. And, had a very nice time there. So, if you're looking for a nice, charming place to go to do a little vacationing, check out Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, now I'm just going to put in the rest of this. Some of you are probably going, no, don't do that, I won't open it once. And I just find it's much easier, personally. Okay. So now we're just mixing this into a batter. It's about the same consistency as a banana bread batter would be when it's done, ready to use. can see there, I'm not sure how well the camera's picking that up, but you can see we're getting a nice batter mixed up there. This is another very easy recipe, not too difficult at all, because it's not a case of people can't bake or they can't cook. You know, people say, oh, I can't even boil water without burning it. Well, that's not true. The case is you probably are a person who gets sidetracked or distracted by other things and therefore don't pay attention to what you're doing and your pan boils dry or whatever the case may be. But if you make your baking or your cooking your priority and your focus, I can guarantee you are not going to burn the water. And you can make these recipes that I'm teaching people to do because they are very, very simple. It's just stay focused on what you are doing. Make sure you have a timer so that you can time your baking and things. All right, so now we have our batter. Now we're going to add a cup of chopped pecans. Now you know from previous videos that I'm a pecan person. If you prefer walnuts, you can use walnuts, but it's a cup of chopped nuts. I guess you could use other kinds of nuts too if you want. Usually for baking it's walnuts or pecans, but I suppose you could use chopped almonds or cashews or something. I'm not really sure why I chose the Farewell Jamaica song for the intro, but I guess this loaf sort of makes me think of the Caribbean for some reason. And then we're going to add a cup of raisins. Now you can see why I used the Splenda, because raisins are very high in sugar. If I'd used a cup of regular sugar plus the raisins, this loaf would send my wife's blood sugars through the roof. So I use Splenda instead. But by all means, if you're making it, you don't have those issues, or you're not on a diet, or don't have to worry about sugar diabetes or any of those things, then you can use a cup of sugar. And again, as usual, you will notice I'll put the ingredients on the screen. So, our batter is ready. That didn't take very long at all. Now we're going to put it into the loaf pan. Just going to do a quick shout out. Channel I've mentioned before, and he actually was the winner of my 250 supporter giveaway or gift giveaway, and that channel is The Wandering Green Man, or Wandering Green Man, and he is an American serviceman living in England. I'm not going to say any more than that. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that much. But he let me know that he has received the gift and is going to do an opening video of it this weekend. So if you want to check out his video, he does videos of beautiful scenery around England and matches it up with some lovely music and just makes very, very relaxing videos. But you also get to see some of the English countryside. And does a wonderful job. Very wonderful job of it. So really recommend check out The Wandering Green Man. I know he would appreciate your support. And I appreciate you supporting the people that support me. And that's somebody that's worth checking out. Also, might check out, if you haven't ever watched Drastic G, the one that does it, his name is Gareth, and he does magnet fishing and metal detecting, but he just today put out a good video. He was sent some things to try by a company. I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but they sent him some things to try out, and so he decided, rather than just do a basic review on the items, to do a special video using the items, and it's very good. You really should check it out. It's almost like the beginning of a spy movie or something. So check out Drastic G. So check out Wandering Green Man and Drastic G. Those are both worth checking out. Alrighty. So our loaf is now ready to go in the oven. And the oven's ready to take it, so we'll just pop it in there. Set at 350 Fahrenheit, and it has to cook for an hour. I have to get down here so you can see me. So we'll let that cook for an hour, and I will get back to you when it's done. We'll have a look at it. Alrighty, go take a nap. God bless you, and I'll see you in an hour. Alright, so our hour's almost up. Our timer's down to 42 seconds. Let's just have a look and see if our loaf is ready. And it came out clean, so that tells us it is done. So we'll turn the oven off, turn off the timer. So we bake it for 1 hour at 350 degrees. And there we have a lovely cinnamon loaf. Now, if you greased and floured your pan, it should come right out. And there we are. And so there's a nice loaf. You should let it cool for a while before you slice it. If you slice it when it's too hot, it'll squish. But it's a nice loaf. You can serve friends and family. A little fresh butter on there, and it'll be good. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I encourage you to try making this. If you've never baked before, don't be afraid. Worst thing you're going to do is maybe burn the loaf, and so you wasted some ingredients. Try again. But like I said, if you're paying attention to what you're doing, use a timer. And let me turn the tap off. And don't get sidetracked doing something else or leave the room. Just stay in there. Well, watch a couple of YouTube videos while your loaf is baking, but be sure to listen for your timer to go off. If you don't have a probe like I use a toothpick. Push it into the loaf, pull it out. If there's anything on the toothpick, any goo, it means your loaf is not quite cooked. If it comes out clean, your loaf is ready to take out of the oven. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you on Friday for the shoutouts and groaner of the week. Alrighty, everybody, take care. God bless.
Oh, my heart was down, my head was turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town.